Okay, it's Luxury Fred, and I am here in Hong Kong at the Cathay Pacific Training Center at Cathay City. And I'm doing an incredible behind-the-scenes tour. You can read about my experience in Business Traveler magazine. It's Luxury Fred, and today I'm doing something that is very, very interesting. You see me flying on a lot of different airlines, and you see me doing reviews of seats and talking about what the flights are like. Today, I'm in Hong Kong, and I'm visiting Cathay Pacific City, which is an entire little city that is the headquarters of Cathay Pacific. So what this is where they do all the training, and they do all the scheduling and maintenance and things like that. Obviously, we have areas that, around here where they do the actual maintenance and catering and stuff like that. But this whole building is all Cathay Pacific offices. There's an entire hotel here, and the hotel is only for Cathay Pacific crews and employees. So when they're flying around the world and they fly through here or they have a break, they stay at the hotel, which is here. There are shops, there's a restaurant, there's a nightclub or a bar or something like that, a gym, an entire city just for the Cathay Pacific operations. So we're going to take a tour and check out kind of behind the scenes of how all this works. Okay, so something cool is that because you're on a 24-hour schedule here and all the employees are coming from all over the world, as well as the ones that work here at the airport, it's 24 hours. Everything that you need is here at Cathay Pacific City, so that if you finish work at 3 o'clock in the morning, that you don't come home and all the shops are closed and things like that. So there is a bank here, there is a grocery store here, there is a hair salon here, a gym, all that kind of stuff, all right here within Cathay Pacific City. So another real cool part of Cathay Pacific City is full gym, including a basketball court. So one of those guys down there could be the pilot that's flying my plane this afternoon. I am visiting a hotel that you can't stay at. No matter how much money you have or how hard you try to make a reservation, you can't stay at this hotel. That's because this hotel is at Cathay Pacific City, and it is solely for the use of the cabin crews and different employees of the airline, because this is one of their bases. So you have a hotel, you have a place to wash your clothes, do laundry and things like that. There's a restaurant, there's a bar, there's a gym, there's a pool, all the normal amenities of a hotel, except just for the Cathay Pacific crews. Okay, Luxury Fred, continuing my tour of, look, Cathay Pacific City, and we have the entire Hong Kong airport right at our feet here. So we are on the top floor of the hotel here at Cathay Pacific City, the hotel that is exclusively for the use of Cathay Pacific crew and employees. And this is a bar and a restaurant here at the top level called Catalina's, and truly has an epically beautiful view of, 300 degree view or 270 degree view of the airport. You can see the entire runways and all that kind of stuff, kind of like you're at the control tower. Really an amazing view of the whole tarmac and everything, as well as the surrounding area. We're on a specific island called Lantau Island. I believe that was more or less constructed to house the airport. And just amazing views of the water beyond the runways and the airport itself. Again, here doing a tour, behind the scenes tour of Cathay Pacific City. Okay, so again, we're doing this cool behind-the-scenes tour of Cathay Pacific City. We're going to check out the Crew Operations Center, where the pilots plan for the flights, and where they get the flight attendant crews together and things like that. So let's go check it out.
Okay, bye-bye.
That's good. That's great. Okay, it's Luxury Fred, and I am here at the Safety Training Center at Cathay Pacific City. As you can see, they have the mock-ups of the plane, and this is where inside of this is a full mock-up of the seats, the galley, and everything. And this is where they train the crews. And part of the safety training is they have these full-size, realistic mock-ups of the different aircraft. This is the Airbus A330, and this is the premium economy section. So everything about this inside is exactly like the real aircraft to allow the crew to train here on the ground, both with how to use the seats, how to use the equipment, how to use the galley and things like that. Everything here is the same. Whew. Another long flight here on Cathay Pacific. Okay, so we're here on our Airbus A330 on Cathay Pacific, and again, this is a full mock-up of the plane. So this is all the controls that they use. We have bright, dim, dim. So again, this shows the different controls, and this is how the flight attendants control the lights and the sound and things like that in the cabin. The red one? Oh, down here? Uh-oh. Is this an alarm? Okay. So that puts all the lights. Okay.
Rolling.
Okay, it's Luxury Fred, and Cathay Pacific has put me to work, all this traveling with them, and now I have to help serve the passengers, so I'm here in the galley. This is the galley of the, which aircraft? 777, the 777, which is the aircraft that I flew back and forth from Los Angeles on. This is the galley, and we're in the first class galley. So something very cool, or a couple of cool things I want to show you, is in the first class galley on the 777, they have a toaster so that you can get freshly toasted bread, things like that. And also, besides a toaster, we have a coffee machine, we have an espresso machine, we have a rice cooker, so that again the rice is properly cooked and fresh for the first class passengers, and we have a frying pan as well to again allow you to get properly cooked food at 40,000 feet. And I like how this is called the Aero Skillet. Okay, it's Luxury Fred, and we're here at the Crew Service Center, In-Flight Services Training and Development. So this is where the cabin crew spend a lot of time working on the service and different parts of the aircraft. So when flyers like me come and fly in Cathay Pacific's beautiful first class cabin, they get that great Cathay Pacific service. Yes. Okay, it's Luxury Fred, and I am here in Hong Kong at the Cathay Pacific Safety Training Center here at Cathay Pacific City, and I'm going to show you how to open the door of a 747 freighter. My behind-the-scenes tour of Cathay Pacific continues. I am now at the IOC, which stands for Integrated Operations Center, which is where a lot of operations go on for the airline. I'm gonna go upgrade myself.
Go.
Yeah. Okay. So we can just.
I just do panic.
Okay. All right. You spoke to her?
Yeah. But she's asking for me things that I don't know what revision they have.
Do we need to clean
No, I know.
Yes, please. Can you
I
upgrade
don't
me
think
to
it was
first
wrong.
class?
2910 wrong.
I'm in kind of the crew scheduling and operations area. And what happens is that's the outside entrance. The crews come in. They have their electronic ID. And as you can see, it says, please sign in for duty. So we would put our ID there, and then we check in for our flight. It gives us briefings. We have to answer some safety questions. Then we come over here to cabin crew operations. And you can see that this is the next step where we have Cathay Pacific cabin crews who are signing up for their flight and getting their information. We got a board there that tells them what time their flights are and things like that. So on a flight, in-flight service manager is kind of the boss of the crew, and just wanted to show that each of the employees has this little mailbox here where you can leave physical messages and things like that, or notices about flights and other things. And then different briefing areas. Something that I thought was cool right here is so we have just a row of files for each flight files. So before a flight, those are by flight number. The in-flight service manager would pick them up, and this basically has all of the details for that actual flight about weather, food, special passengers, special needs, whatever the case might be.
And Ione. Yeah. Ione. Hi, Daphne. Did you get all the bag of yummy stuff? Okay, good. Thank you. You're welcome.
This is the crew operations and scheduling center, so you can see that we have the different flight crews waiting for a bus that will take them to their plane. We just saw how they do their briefing and how they all meet as a crew together to talk about the flight, the upcoming flight, things like that.
CX500, please proceed to crew transport.